The Willow Creek HOA meeting droned on, until a neighbor's complaint landed on a name that made Amy Hollister's eyes narrow.
I've heard shouting from the Reeves place. Kids screaming, a man yelling, something's not right over there.
Screaming kids? That's exactly the kind of case our new Child Welfare Watch Committee should investigate.
Amy left the meeting with a file in her hand and a plan already forming in her mind. She spent the evening researching Tyler Reeves, single foster parent, 3 kids under 12, no visible wife.
A single man with 3 foster kids? Easy target. 1 anonymous report, and they'll be out of my neighborhood.
She typed the report with practiced ease. I can hear a man screaming at children. Things being thrown daily. 1 click, and the report vanished into the state hotline, marked anonymous.
And just like that, the wheels are turning.
Tyler Reeves had no idea the HOA had just declared war on his family. The next morning, Tyler's kitchen was the good kind of chaos. Noah burning toast, Mia humming, Lucas chasing Cheerios. "Dad, look, I caught it." Then the phone rang.
Reeves.
Mr. Reeves, this is Deirdre Morgan from CPS. We've received a report concerning your household.
A report? What kind of report?
She didn't give details, only that a social worker would be visiting that morning, unannounced in response to an anonymous report. An hour later, Deirdre Morgan stood at Tyler's door, clipboard in hand, expression carefully neutral.
I need to interview each family member separately. Standard procedure.
She spoke to each child separately and heard nothing but stories of pancake breakfasts, bedtime books, and a dad who never raised his voice. After 2 hours, she left. Tyler shut the door with trembling hands. That night, he sat the kids down and warned them. If any stranger asked about their home, find him immediately. The first report was barely a week behind them when CPS called again. Then again, 2 days later.
Mr. Reeves, we've received 3 more complaints. I am required to investigate each one.
3 more? This is absurd. My kids are fine. Ask them yourself. Someone is filing these on purpose. But who?
Across the neighborhood, Amy Hollister opened her laptop and filed her 4th anonymous report, this time claiming she heard a child crying for hours.
CPS will have to act soon. A pattern of concern is enough to trigger removal.
Tyler bought a notebook and began logging every CPS visit, every question, every officer's name. He called a lawyer but couldn't afford a retainer. By the 3rd week, neighbors who once waved now crossed the street. Tyler caught their whispers, those foster kids. Angry man, something off. The case file at CPS was thickening, built on lies, and Tyler could feel the ground shifting beneath his family. The knock came at 7 a.m., sharp. Deirdre Morgan stood on the porch, but this time she wasn't alone. 2 uniformed officers flanked her, and in her hand was a folded court order.
Tyler, I am so sorry. The judge signed an emergency removal order based on the pattern of reports. We have to take the children now.
Take them. For what? None of those complaints were ever proven.
Noah bolted for the stairs, but an officer blocked him. Mia screamed, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Lucas just stood frozen, confused.
Daddy, don't let them take me. I'll be good.
What did we do wrong? Tell them, Dad.
Deirdre's face was pale as she knelt to Lucas. "It's just for a little while, honey." But the boy just stared past her. Across the street, Amy Hollister watched from behind her curtains. Her camera phone captured every second, not out of concern, but for her records. The patrol car pulled away. Tyler stood in the driveway, fists clenched, the neighbors' whispers louder than the engine.
I will find out who did this, and I will make them pay.
The next morning, Tyler walked into the county CPS office, jaw set, and demanded his case file.
I want every report ever filed against my home. Every single one.
A harried clerk brought him a stack. Tyler spread them on an empty desk and counted 14 reports in 6 months, all unsubstantiated.
14 lies. They took my children for this.
Then he saw the reporting party listed on each form. Willow Creek HOA Child Welfare Watch Committee.
Amy Hollister. That witch.
Tyler drove home, his mind racing. He pulled out a federal code book from his shelf and turned to section 13,031, false reporting in foster cases. The penalty was staggering, up to 5 years in federal prison, per FEF-ALS statement. He called his agency's legal counsel, not as a victim, as the regional director of the Administration for Children and Families. The lawyer listened, then said, "Tyler, this is a federal felony. If we prove it, she's going to prison." Within 48 hours, Tyler's office assigned a federal investigator, Agent Marcus Chen, a man who'd built cases against entire fraud rings.
14 reports, all unsubstantiated, all using the same phrases. Someone is running a playbook.
We have a predator in our midst. The foster system dumps troubled children into our quiet streets, and this man, this Reeves, he's hiding something.
She clicked to a slide titled Incident Escalation, red arrows pointing upward, numbers pulled from thin air.
I second the motion. The Child Welfare Watch should have full authority to monitor all foster homes in Willow Creek.
My neighbors voted to spy on me. I am a federal director with 3 kids who call me Dad, and now I am the threat.
That evening, Agent Chen knocked on doors without a warrant, just a badge and a calm smile.
Have you ever heard Mr. Reeves raise his voice? Any signs of abuse? We're investigating a pattern.
The answers surprised him. One woman said the kids built snowmen last winter. Another recalled Mia singing. 2 investigations raced in opposite directions. The local CPS deepening its file, the federal probe hunting for lies. Only one could be right. Agent Chen obtained a federal search warrant for Amy Hollister's home. At dawn, he knocked, this time officially.
She kept drafts. Some of these are worse than what she filed. More violent, more detailed.
In the temporary facility, the children were interviewed one by a child psychologist.
Daddy never raises his voice. He tucks us in and tells us we're safe.
I've never been hit, not once. The only screaming is when we play tag.
Dad gave me this lucky truck. He said it would protect me.
Those children are coached, clearly. They're protecting their abuser. It's classic.
Tyler called the county CPS office daily, demanding progress, but the hearing was still 3 weeks away. Tyler's federal legal counsel gave him clear instructions. Stay silent. The investigation needs no interference. So he waited. By evening, Amy had hired a high-priced defense attorney. The woman who once smiled now couldn't stop pacing. The next morning, the local paper ran a front-page story. Federal official accused of retaliation against HOA volunteer.
Perfect. Now the whole town will see him as the bully. Not me. He used his government position to silence me. I am a grandmother protecting children, and he's trying to destroy my life.
They're calling me an abuser and a bully. My own department is getting calls.
Don't talk to the press. The evidence we have is ironclad. Let them hang themselves.
That evening, the local news aired Amy's tearful interview. The kids, still in state custody, watched from a tablet in a social worker's office.
That lady is lying, right, Mia? Dad never screamed.
My lawyer says they can't prove intent. As long as I stick to my story, I'll be fine.
Tyler's boss called him in. Reeves, the director, wants a statement. Some congressman's office is asking questions. By Friday, the community was split, half believing the tearful HOA mom, half sensing something darker. Tyler's children remained in foster care, and the hearing was still weeks away. Tyler sat in his federal office, staring at a half-typed resignation letter. I can no longer protect the children under this scrutiny.
If I step down, the media pressure dies. The kids can come home.
His phone rang. Agent Chen's name flashed on the screen.
Tyler. We found her personal emails. She didn't even delete them.
Chen read the subject line aloud. Those brats are ruining my property values. I'll file until they're gone.
She called your children animals and a nuisance in 3 separate emails to the HOA board.
Tyler's hand clenched into a fist. The rage was back, but this time it was aimed at a target.
This is the proof. She's done.
The federal prosecutor called an hour later. Charges were being filed under 18 U.S.C. Section 1001 and 42 U.S.C. Section 13031.
It's airtight, Tyler. She will see prison.
That night, Tyler didn't sleep. But for the first time in weeks, he felt something close to hope. Before sunrise, Agent Chen led the team to Amy Hollister's front door, an arrest warrant folded in his pocket. Amy pressed her eye to the peephole and saw 3 federal agents, their badges glowing in the porch light.
Miss Hollister, federal agents with a warrant. Open the door immediately.
Amy's hands trembled as she unlocked the door. The moment it cracked open, Agent Chen stepped forward.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Across the street, Tyler watched from his truck. He didn't smile, just let the tears fall.
Tyler, the judge vacated the removal order. The kids are cleared. You can come get them.
He didn't wait. Tyler threw on his jacket and raced out the door, his mind only on the children.
I knew you'd never hurt us.
That night, Amy Hollister sat in a federal holding cell. But Tyler Reeves slept with 3 children breathing in the next room, and the weight of 1,000 lies finally lifted. The next morning, the house was too quiet. The children moved like shadows, still bracing for the doorbell.
Dad, will they come back and take us again? I don't want to go.
The board got served this morning. Tyler Reeves is suing the HOA for $1.6 million.
Tyler filed the civil complaint himself. Emotional distress, lost wages, and compensatory damages.
We're going to talk to someone, a professional, about what happened. It's going to help.
His lawyer called the adoption petition the fastest track I've ever seen. The county wanted this family whole.
I drew our family, you, Noah, Lucas, and me. No one can take this.
The HOA board voted to abolish the Child Welfare Watch Committee, but the lawsuit papers had already been stamped. That week, Tyler found Noah staring out the window, watching the street. Someone might be watching, the boy whispered. Tyler pulled him close. Let them watch. We're not going anywhere. That night, Mia hummed again for the first time. The federal courthouse steps were lined with news vans. Inside, Judge Elena Vasquez called the pre-trial hearing to order.
We have the 14th of September. Aired false reports, emails proving malice, and the defendant's own drafts confessing her motive.
Amy's attorney argued she was overzealous, but not criminal, merely a concerned citizen with poor judgment.
The evidence suggests a pattern of deliberate falsehoods, not a single mistake. Motion to dismiss is denied.
My children still flinch at sirens. They ask me every night if someone is coming to take them away.
Amy Hollister stared straight ahead, jaw tight, refusing to show weakness, but her hands twisted in her lap. Outside the courthouse, Amy faced the cameras. Her voice didn't waver.
I am innocent. This is a witch hunt.
The prosecution offered a plea to 2 felony counts. Amy's lawyer declined. She wanted her day in court. Trial was set for 6 weeks later. Tyler would have to relive every detail, and his children would be called to testify. The trial opened on a Tuesday. The prosecutor rose and told the courtroom, this case is about weaponized falsehoods.
14 reports, all filed by Amy Hollister. Not one was substantiated. Not one.
Agent Chen walked the jury through each report, each date, each invented scream. The pattern filled the screen. Then the prosecutor read aloud. Those brats are ruining my property values. I'll file until they're gone. Amy's face drained of color. Her lawyer shifted his notepad and didn't meet her eyes. A monitor flickered on. Mia's face appeared, oversized and vulnerable, speaking from the stand.
Tyler never yelled. He reads us stories. He tells us we're his whole world.
I've never been hurt. He taught me to ride a bike. He's the best dad.
Amy's lawyer leaned close. His whisper carried only to her. You should consider a plea. But Amy's jaw only tightened. The judge called for victim impact statements. Tyler stood, voice low but steady.
Lucas wakes up screaming. Mia won't sleep alone. Noah asks every night if the police are coming back.
Amy Hollister's shoulders began to shake. Her lawyer touched her arm, but she pulled away.
I did it. I just wanted quiet. They were always laughing, always too loud. I called them brats.
Miss Hollister, how do you plead to the 4 counts of false reporting as a federal felony?
Guilty.
This court accepts your plea. Sentencing will be in 4 weeks. You will remain in custody.
Amy collapsed into her chair, her expression not of anger, but of someone watching the last door close. Tyler didn't smile. He looked at the ceiling and whispered something no one could hear. The federal case was closed, but the civil suit and the adoption still lay ahead. 4 weeks later, the federal courtroom was filled to capacity. Cameras lined the walls, and the air was heavy with expectation.
The defendant filed 14 separate false reports. Under 18 U.S.C. Section 1001. Each is punishable by up to 5 years.
Amy's lawyer begged for mercy, arguing she was a grandmother with no prior criminal record and deep roots in the community.
My children still flinch at sirens. They ask me every night if someone will come and take them away.
You weaponized the child welfare system against innocent children. This is an abuse of the highest order. This court sentences you to 6 months in federal prison, orders $1.6 million in restitution, and registers you permanently.
That afternoon, Amy Hollister's name appeared on the Federal Child Welfare Offender Registry, barring her from any role involving children. In the gallery, some wept. Some nodded in grim satisfaction. One reporter whispered, "Justice." Amy was led out in handcuffs, her eyes fixed on the floor. Not a trace of the old smile. The sentencing was over. But for Tyler Reeves, the adoption and the civil suit still loomed. The civil court delivered its judgment the following Monday. The HOA was ordered to pay $1.6 million in compensatory damages.
$1.6 million. The insurance won't cover half. We're finished.
In a separate federal ruling that week, Judge Vasquez designated Tyler's property a foster care protected site. A metal sign went into the lawn the next morning. Foster care protected site, no trespassing without federal escort. The first HOA inspector who tried to approach was met by a federal agent. "Turn around. You need a court order and an escort." That same afternoon, the adoption hearing began. Noah, Mia, and Lucas sat in the front row, dressed in new clothes.
Mr. Reeves, why do you want to adopt these children?
They already call me Dad. This just makes it official forever.
We want to be real. Reeves, with papers and everything.
The judge smiled, then said she would grant the adoption. She reached for her pen while the gallery held its breath. The judge's pen scratched the paper. "I now pronounce you a family." The courtroom erupted in applause.
We're Reeves now. Real Reeves.
They celebrated with cake on the courthouse steps, the children's new last names written in frosting. A week later, a formal letter arrived from the HOA board, an invitation to speak at their mandatory ethics seminar.
They want me to lecture them. But someone else can go.
Tyler called the board and declined, but then added, "My son Lucas would be happy to attend." That Saturday, Lucas Reeves, age 8, walked into the Willow Creek HOA ethics seminar and took a seat in the front row. He carried a notepad and a marker. The adults shifted uncomfortably.
I have a sign.
He held it up. "Ethics matter." The room went silent. The facilitator cleared his throat and tried to move on, but Lucas Reeves had his hand in the air.
Why did the lady make up stories about us? She said my dad screamed, but he never did.
The HOA member at the podium opened his mouth, but no words came. Craig shifted in his seat, suddenly fascinated by the carpet.
Is it okay to lie if you want someone gone? My teacher says it's not.
No, it's never. I mean, we don't condone.
The silence stretched until a woman in the back stood up and began to clap. One by one, others rose. Soon half the room was on their feet. Lucas looked around, confused but proud, still holding his sign. The mandatory ethics seminar became something no one in Willow Creek would forget. In a narrow cell, Amy Hollister sat on her bunk and wrote on a single sheet of paper.
I hear them at night, the children crying. Only now I know it was my fault.
She folded the letter and handed it to the guard. Mail it, please. 3 days later, Tyler found the envelope in his mailbox. He recognized the handwriting immediately. He read it once, then placed it on the kitchen counter. His coffee went cold. He didn't reply. Some wounds don't heal with an apology. Amy's days became a blur of concrete and regret. She spent hours in the library, staring at law books.
I ruined them, and I ruined myself for what? Quiet.
Her name on the Federal Offender Registry was permanent. She would never work with children again. But across town, the Reeves house was loud with laughter, and no one was coming to take anything away. The metal sign on the lawn stayed put. Foster care protected site. Noah pushed Mia on the swing. Lucas chased butterflies, and the backyard filled with shrieks of joy. Tyler sat on the porch steps, watching them, a smile he hadn't worn in months, finally settling in. A neighbor who'd once crossed the street to avoid him walked up the driveway holding a casserole dish. I am sorry, I believed her, she said. Tyler took the dish and nodded.
Dad, can we stay here forever?
Forever. Noah, this is your home.
Mia stuck her drawing of the family on the refrigerator. Stick figures holding hands under a crayon sun. That night, the Reeves house glowed from every window, a beacon of what protection and love could build, and the sign on the lawn said everything the family didn't need to speak. That night, Tyler Reeves tucked his children in one by one, pulling blankets to their chins.
They're safe now. Finally.
Mia clutched her stuffed rabbit, her breathing steady and deep. Noah had fallen asleep mid-sentence, a book still open on his chest. Lucas was already dreaming, his lucky truck resting on the pillow beside him. In the hallway, Tyler paused outside each door, listening to the quiet. He walked to the front window and looked out. The metal sign caught the porch light in the backyard. The empty swing set stood still, bathed in moonlight. Tyler exhaled. The worst was behind them, and this house was finally a home. Some HOA Karens learn the hard way. Mess with a federal foster home, and the feds mess back. So, what about you? Have you ever dealt with a neighbor or HOA Karen who crossed the line? Drop your story in the comments. This community is built on real people standing up to bullies. And if this story hit home, hit that subscribe button. We bring you real battles where the little guy wins. Remember, false reports to child protective agencies aren't just dirty, they're federal felonies. Amy Hollister found that out with 4 felony counts, prison time, and a permanent spot on the offender registry. So protect your family, know your rights, and never let a bully weaponize the system against you. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that justice is real, and it can start with a single knock on the door. If you want more stories like Tyler's, subscribe and turn on notifications. We post every week. And as always, keep your receipts and your courage. You never know when you'll need both. Until next time, stay sharp and don't let the Karens win.